I wasn't planning on making a video today, but the news that has come out is pretty massive, so I wanted to talk about it. Age of Sigmar 4 is on the horizon and everyone's super excited about it. Obviously, the Games Workshop have already started peddling the new miniatures, as you can see, with the new Liberator design, which is obviously borrowing styles from the Thunderstrike armor of AOS 3. And probably late AOS 2, and redesigning the old chunky stoic badasses that they had in AOS 1, which arguably are starting to look quite dated compared to the newer ones. And whilst I joke about it over on Twitter saying that they're Primaris Stormcast and they're making them all first forged as it's been dubbed already, I do think the new redesigns are really, really nice. I do think comparatively, the ones I would want on the tabletop are the new ones compared to the old ones. Just the old ones are nostalgic, even though they're actually only 9 years old. I think the sprues on them say that they're from 2014, but Age of Sigmar came out in 2015. The game is 9 years old this year, and it is in its 4th edition. And with that, they're getting a lot of redesigns. It looks like the Liberators are the first ones that are getting Primaris or redone, but also loads of models in the trailer for AOS 4 features a lot of units that are from the AOS 1 period, like the Prosecutors, the Dracolith, I think, or the Dracolines, I think they're called. Basically, these launch trailers are to show you what's coming in a new edition and what's coming in the new launch box, just like we had in the 10th edition trailer. It pretty much showed off every new unit that was going to be available. It feels like Games Workshop have had an artistic direction change with Stormcast. If you look at from the stuff that came out at the beginning and the stuff that's coming out now, it is whilst it obviously borrows a lot of elements, it's wildly different. And I think this is their way of going, actually, no, it's kind of like J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson with Star Wars, right? It's actually, no, this is how I want to do it. Get wrecked. Cut everything out. Everything, we'll just forget it, pretend it never happened. It's like that. Make a Star Wars reference, I'm sure that'll go well. However, just like 40k, Games Workshop have announced what is leaving the range come AOS 4, and Jesus Christ, this list is not short. As you can see, with the latest edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar on the horizon, and the news that every single wall scroll in the game is being assessed, balanced, it is sad but necessary truth that certain miniatures are leaving the range. This is always going to happen with new editions. It is just the sad truth that Games Workshop loves to, rather than redo every single miniature they've ever created, they're just kind of cutting half the range and then re-releasing them later down the line. But what surprised me was right at the top was a picture of Stormcat. These are Evocators, I think they're called, and they're from AOS 2. So 6 years ago, I think 2018, I think it was, Age of Sigmar 2nd edition with Soul Walls, etc. They've also showed off Beastmen and Savage Orks, or Bone Splitters as they're called in Age of Sigmar. Now, these two, whilst if you are a Beastman player or a Savage Ork player in Age of Sigmar, it's going to be very sad. These ones, to me personally, didn't surprise me too much, because these ones feature quite heavily in Warhammer the Old World. And for some reason, Games Workshop is super against double dipping anything that is in 2 games. You can't have models working in one game and working in another. That is actually illegal. You will be arrested. I don't understand why they're so against letting people buy models for one game and then play them in another, because that's what we've seen with Legends factions in the Warhammer the Old World. But in that game, people don't seem to care if it's Legends or not. Just play it anyway. We don't care. We just want to have fun with square bases and do all them things, you know. It's just a funny game. But as you said, they've said 2 factions, Beasts of Chaos and Bone Splitters, as well as a number of older Stormcast Eternals from the Sacrosanct and Warrior Chambers, will be receiving free to download digital battle tomes. These will feature new background and rules and will be considered legal for use in competitive play until summer of 2025. Now, this is something that I do have to commend them for. When we saw the launch of 10th edition 40k, all of the Legend units were gone. Bam, straight away. And then as soon as the Space Marine Codex came out, they did it again. And they were just these are all Legends. And whilst Legends is kind of yeah, you can use it in casual play. And I implore you personally to use them in casual play if you can. A lot of people don't play, they don't really play casual games. They play match play games. And in match play games, people generally like to play with the current stuff, whether you have to or not. And I always say you don't have to buy the latest mission pack. You don't have to buy the latest codex. Just play with what you own if you want to. Most people tend to go and play with the latest stuff. It just seems to be the modus operandi of most people, how people play Warhammer. They want to play with the latest stuff. It doesn't matter what's out. It doesn't matter what you've got. You have to play the latest stuff. In Games Workshop says it's in Legends, it's in Legends. However, they have said they are legal until 2025. So at least for the first year of the new edition, if you are a Beastman player, you are a Bone Splitters player, or you are a Sacrosanct player for Stormcaster Turtles, you can continue to play for at least the first year. What happens after that is it goes to Legends. Now, basically that means is it's casual play only. You're going to probably struggle to play games as much as Games Workshop try to act like don't. You will. It says, we encourage you to continue to your collection of casual play and will continue to support this content with rule balancers, updaters as needed throughout the edition. So they kind of say they're legal until 2025, but then they will be updated post 2025, but that potentially means surprising, to be honest. But again, it's one of those things. Will people use it? Probably not. But then the amount of stuff on this list is actually insane. Like, all of these Stormcaster Turtle units, I feel like haven't been out that long. Like, some of them are insanely cool as well. Like, the Aventis Firestrike is a gorgeous miniature, and they're just getting rid of it. And the Knight Heraldor, the famous... The Toot Toot Man, he's great. We begin with Sigmar's Fantasy Stormcaster Turtles, who have one largest miniatures range in Warhammer history. With so many war scrolls offered for troops who have similar fighting styles, certain units are returning to distant halls of Azir. These include the entire Sacrosanct Chamber, who have decided to work on the cure for the course of reforging from their workshops in the realm of heavens. Anything that is Sacrosanct, so anything that is like magic, Stormcaster Eternal, anything that's in robes, is getting Legends, which is so surprising in my opinion. Now, I can understand some units, like the Judicators is essentially a liberator with a bow. I imagine these are going to get redone. And Prosecutors are flying liberators, and they are in the trailer. I imagine these are actually going to be in the AOS 4 launch box with the new liberators in Thunderstrike armor, because it makes more sense for a more dainty unit with wings to be flying with wings, to be in this like slimline armor compared to like liberator armor. But like again, like the Firestrike is a sick unit. Like I'm surprised they're not keeping like it as more generic as like Mage on Griffin, for example, because I'm sure they're still going to have like wizard casters. It's just like a big boy flying griffin, you know, he's like having a great time. But then like they're getting rid of like Gavriel Shoreheart, Vora's Starstrike. Now I think Gavriel was like a special edition miniature. I might be mistaken, but like it's just surprising just how much is on this. Like Paladins were in the first box set. They've kind of got like the Annihilators, I think they're called now. They kind of like do the same thing, so annoying but fair enough. But like Evocators again, like cool ridden unit just gone. Night Vex, like just it just feels like half the range is gone, because it is literally basically loads of units from AOS 1 and AOS 2 have just got cold in this new edition. Which, if you are a Stormcast player, I'm very sorry. This is trash. I actually own a lot of this because I've been collecting Stormcast for a long time. It's one of those I've kind of been like started and then never finished, but they are cool, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I will play Stormcast, and then I never get around to it. However, I own so much of this, and am I going to paint it now? No. Why would I? Because if let's say I use it for a year, after a year it's all Legends, I can't use it in a tournament, in a match play setting. It's for casual games, and I can play casual games when I want. But being a YouTuber on the internet, people don't really care about casual games. They want to see the latest and greatest. That's just kind of how it works. Skaven are also getting cold. They're having a lot of units removed. Now, I think a lot of these are being replaced in the starter set, but some of them maybe not. Now, a lot of these are actually available in Warhammer the Old World as a Legends unit. Now, so I don't know if they will go off sale completely, or they'll come back in like in a box one day in the future. But again, they don't like you double dipping in both games, so it's kind of like if you have these, you can still use them. But if you don't, you don't. But like Clan Rats are going to be replaced, you know. Warp Grinder is probably going to be replaced. Rat Ogres are probably going to be replaced because they're all in the trailer. Now everything else I'm not so sure, but maybe like I'm pretty sure we saw the Jezzails, and maybe we saw the Acolytes, but the Acolyte is such an old model, and I think they were like £8 each. You needed like 30 of them. But like Acolytes are one of the oldest Skaven kits still available on the market, and was available onto the market. But a lot of these are very, very old, like so much so that the Jezzails and the Flair are still square bases on the pictures. They haven't been changed in the last 10 years, you know. So like I feel like Skaven feels a little less harsh because they're a lot older, and I feel like that's probably okay. If a model's been out for like 30 years and it gets Legends, we can kind of like look past it, you know. But if you play Bone Splitters again, they are also getting Legends. The Wergog Prophet, honestly, the best unit in the game. I played this at a tournament once, or at Warclans as well, and I had one Wargog Prophet, and he had the silly ability at the time. On a 2-up, a model within a unit within 12 takes D3 mortal wounds unless you roll a 1. Then you take D6 mortal wounds, but then you give him a 4+ ward because you give him the artifact. And I took out Kragnos in 1 turn. He's so broken. He was so cool, but he was so broken. Also on here is the Headcrackers Mad Mob, which is the Warcry warband, I believe. Or no, the Warhammer Underworld warband, which currently they're going away. Now, whether they'll remain on sale, I don't know, because obviously they're for Warhammer the Underworld. Like all of these are going to be no longer available, but these ones not being able to buy is actually crazy. Now, again, these are probably going to come out in the old world. They haven't confirmed it, but they probably are going to come out in the old world. So it's not the end of the world if you are a Bone Splitters player. You probably got everything you need already. But yeah, that Orcs and Goblins, these are all in it, except for these guys. So that's a bit of a shame. Now, Slaves to Darkness, again, all of these Warcry warbrands and the Warhammer Underworld warbands, the Kagra's Ravagers, all getting legends. Are they going off sale? They've been out for like half an hour, it feels. It's crazy. Granted, a lot of these models came out quite a few years ago, but a lot of them, like Hordes of Hashut, actually just came out like last year, I think it was, with the Rot and Ruin campaign with the Maggot King guys. So he says, with the arrival of Dark Oath, the Slate Starters have finally found their definitive mortal followers. So I feel like these were like a stopgap between Marauders getting updated to having Dark Oath as being like a full range, because obviously they've had the new box set announced since then. But like, again, it's just very surprising. It's like all of these are relatively new and they're no longer going to have rules. Now, again, does this mean they're going off sale? For these, I feel like probably no, but maybe, because they haven't really clarified anything. And then finally, Beasts of Chaos. Like, again, all of these are available in Warhammer the Old World. If you play them in Sigmar, I am very, very sorry. It is shit. But they're all like Beasts of Chaos haven't really had a proper update. They've had like the terrain and the endless spells, that they've not really had any new miniatures. I think, yeah, they've had the Beast Lord and that was it. I think that he's relatively new. But they've had like nothing since Age of Sigmar started, really, except for the terrain and the endless spells. It's upsetting to lose an entire faction, especially that's cemented in the lore, that was like, that's just like kind of like being ripped back out and thrown back into the old game it came from. They made them fit this game and then they threw them back out again. But like when they entered the realm of beasts and they didn't do anything with Beasts of Chaos, I felt like the writing was on the wall already. But yeah, but anyway, there's a few more units, like a couple more units that are getting legends, like a lot of like older units, and then the Mistweaver Saith, which is from, I want to say, Silver Tower. So like the fact that she's finally getting legends is quite funny, but she's like one random model from Silver Tower, which is quite funny. But if you are like a Bone Splitters player, you are a Beastman player, or you're a Stormcast player, and you want to get these models before they go, Games Workshop have officially said on their Warhammer Twitter, if you want any of these kits, we advise you buy them sooner rather than later, as there will not be a restock on any of these items. So if you want to buy them, now is the time. It's just a shame that they're all out of stock, and I think they're out of stock when they announced this as well. Obviously, like, there's some units that are going to Legends that aren't out of stock, like the Knight Azeroth and the Heraldor and stuff like that. They are online only, which means they're going to be a pain to get hold of. But a lot of the units that they've just announced are getting Legends are already out of stock, which means you can't buy them. They aren't going to be restocking them. So this is already a case of going to like independent sellers or going to eBay and stuff like that. Again, like Beastmen will probably come back out with square bases if you did want to finish your collection or whatever, then cool. They have confirmed that these are coming back to Warhammer the Old World. Now, Bone Splitters again are out of stock. They haven't confirmed it, but I am pretty confident. They've just had the Orcs and Goblins Arcane Journal release, so having these come out would make sense. But again, if you play Warcry, you want one of these warbands, get on eBay, get to your local seller now, your freelance gaming stores, because like all the stuff that's going to Legends is already out of stock, and it's only going to get worse if they aren't planning a restock. So it's quite surprising. Like Warcry warbands, especially, very surprising. And then all of the Stormcast range, I felt like they could probably cull a few, but also they could have just like made them just really rubbish and just left them as a page in the book and then never really utilized them. You know, put them in the index or whatever. But again, it's one of those things. It's nice that they're going to be available until 2025 in competitive play, but after that, You know, off you go. Anyway, that's the update from me. So thanks for watching. I'm live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you didn't know, subscribe if you haven't already, because it'll glow. Subscribe! Wow, look at that! Glow, subscribe. Also, click like. Maybe that worked. I don't know. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!